Hey, what's up guys, it's Theo from Fino Concept. So today we are going to create a logo from an image like this one in Adobe Photoshop. Basically, we are just going to use an image from DeadPool. And if you want the exact same thing, please check the description in the links. Check the links in the description. Check the links in the description.
Welcome to Fino Concept. Click the subscribe button and hit the bell icon so you don't miss out on any of our future videos. So let's open up our application. For this tutorial, I'm using Photoshop CC 2018, and the image I'm actually going to be using is this one. So I'll go ahead and open it up in Photoshop. Now I'm only interested in the head, so I'll probably grab my crop tool, that is C on your keyboard, and just cut out the head like so. So if I fit this to screen, I'll just be using my pen tool to draw all the shapes. So let's just start with that. So I'll grab my pen tool, make sure that it is set to shape, the fill color is set to fill and not none, and stroke is set to none. So I'll begin by drawing probably from the ear, where the ear is supposed to be. I'll draw something like an arc like so. Hold down Alt to bring that anchor point back to where I began, and I'll draw another one like this. So basically you just be drawing out lines like so. Now when you get to the center, there's one actually a cool trick to use. Now because the face is symmetrical, we can actually just draw one side, then we just create a duplicate of the other and just flip it around. I'll show you what it means in a couple of seconds. So the last part, instead of actually drawing from the center, try to move a little bit away from the center, so somewhere around here should be just fine. You can see this is far from the center, and I'll explain to you why that is so. So I don't want this part to be covering up my screen, so I'll probably place it somewhere here. I'm going to reduce the opacity to about 10 for now, so that I can see what I'm doing, and I'm just going to draw out the chin like so. So once I get to the ear, I'll just close that loop like this. So now I can just increase the opacity, and you can see. So I actually want the red color. I'll just go ahead and sample it from here, and I click on OK. Now let's hide that red for now and create one for the eyes. So I'll grab my pen tool one more time, and I'll just draw around where the eyes are. Now in case you make a mistake, you can always undo by holding down Ctrl and pressing Z. That is going to undo and redo. So the color is still set to red. I'm actually going to double click and make it a dark gray and something like this, and I'll create one for probably pixels. I'll create one for probably this side, so again something like this. The second one, I'm actually going to make it solid black, so that's the shape 3. Now if we fit this to screen, let's turn on everything and see how this is looking like. I think for the second one, I'm actually going to make it also darker like so. So again, turn it off, and let's draw the last part. That's going to be the eye. So grab the pen tool one more time and create sketch around the eye like so. Hit enter, and I'll change that to white. So I actually have to bring shape 4 on top. Other than that, everything is going to look like a mess. So I think something like this is okay. I'm not going to be including the source or anything. I'm just interested in the head. So for this, I'll just group them up, Ctrl G, and I'll duplicate Ctrl J. So once I'm done, just click on any of the edges, or just hit Ctrl T to bring up the transform options, and I'll place this somewhere around here. Now in case you didn't make it exceed the center like I began, you are going to have something like this, and you have to fill it up with something else. But because we exceeded, you can now just move this over on top like so, and it's going to overlap like this. And I think I'll place it somewhere around here to make it seem more even. If it is not, you can just use the arrow keys on your keyboard whilst the move tool is still activated, then you can just create that. So I'm actually going to create a new document this time around. I'm going to make it 2K by 2, you know what, let's make it 1920 by 1080, so that I can just make this my YouTube thumbnail, and it's going to be a lot easier for me. Everyone knows I'm lazy. Anyway, so I'll just click and drag this somewhere around here, increase the size to something like this, and try to place this at the center. So we don't need this anymore. I'll go ahead and close it up. Now there's something I want to do for the right side, that is, I should probably call this right and left. Okay, so for the right side, I'm actually going to change the color from this red to a much darker red. It doesn't have to be too dark. Something like this should be okay. This way it appears like it has some kind of shadow coming over at that portion, and because of that I'm getting some error over here. So just bring up my move tool, hold down Control, and I'll just click and drag this somewhere around here, trying to mend this as much as possible so I can go away or do away with that problem. Or I'll probably just create a layer mask, which I'm actually going to do, and I'll bring up my brush to set it to about let's see how 200 pixel is. Too much. Actually still have my brush settings set to this, so I'll just turn it off. So I'll just brush over. I think 200 pixel is too much, so I'll just change it to about 50, and I'll just brush over so that I get some form of gradient instead of just a solid black color moving over like so. I think this is still too harsh, so I'll increase the color just by a little bit. I'm okay with this. I'll probably do the same for this. I'll make it slightly darker than what it actually is. I can make this more black because it's already stuck to that. Anyway, for the eye, which is the shape 4, I didn't name mine, but you can go ahead and name yours. Control T to bring up the transform options. Now select the warp options from here so that I can make this seem like it's a lot bigger, so it doesn't seem like it's the actual reflection from the other side. It looks like one eye is opened more than the other, so again I can just stretch this out and play around the warp settings like so, and just fit this to screen. So basically I'm done. I can just bring up Control R to bring up my rulers. I'll place this at the center, Control R to remove them again. I'll bring up my type tool and I'll just type in DeadPool. Okay, so let's reduce the size to about 30. I think 30 is still a little bit too huge, so about 20. Okay, 18 looks much better. I'm going with the font called Unisans, and I'm selecting the bold version because, I mean, why not? So that is going to be the text on top, but I actually want a circle around my image, so I'm going to create it just beneath those two. So I'll grab my ellipse tool, whilst holding down shift I'll just create a circle like so, and I'll bring my move tool over here and try to place this at the center. Now just double click on the right hand side or just go to FX to bring up the layer style. I'll create a shadow, I'll actually create a stroke, and I'll set the stroke size to about 15 and make sure that the stroke is set to inside. Now for my fill type, instead of color I'm actually using gradient, so I can select the first preset, which is right here. That's the foreground to background color. For the first color I'm actually going to select the red color from here, click on OK, and for the second I'm actually going to select the black or dark gray color from here and click on OK. So you can go ahead and reverse this so that you can see how this is going to look like, but I think I like mine with the red coming or moving up and becoming dark gray, so I'll stick with that for now. And I'm actually going to apply this same effect onto my text. So whilst holding down Alt, I'm going to click and drag FX on top of the layer or the text layer, which is DeadPool, and when I release it, it's just going to apply that same effect for me. Let's actually reduce the size of our whole image to something like this so that it looks much cleaner. It looks so huge on the screen right now. So I think basically this is looking awesome already. I can also just place this at the center and I will be done. But if this is not looking quite nice for you, you can always double click on the ellipse because this is a shape and change the color to something like yellow, which is going to stand out a lot more than what we had previously. You can also just use white if you want that color. So basically that is it. I'm actually going to add a gradient or a radial gradient to this. Set the scale to 1000, change the style to radial, and that is it.
As always, if you want this exact PSD, I'll have it linked in the description below. It's actually going to be the first link in the description below, so be sure to check that out. So that's it. Thank you guys for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to watch more of our videos, hit that subscribe button, and as always, don't forget to share with your family and friends. This is Theo from Fino Concept, and I'll see you guys in the next one.